And we're going to talk about what I did rebuilding a couple of electric cars. Started with a Tesla, and my idea was I was going to do like summer and do a conversion. I had a Tacoma. I was sick and tired of waiting for a realistically sized electric truck. So I was going to take the motor out of that and the battery pack. But my wife walked out and said, that's way too nice a car. You can fix it. So I ended up doing. So if you're thinking about doing this, I started as a mechanic when I was 13 years old. My dad drug home a Cushman scooter. Some of you guys are old enough to know what that is. And we took it apart together, and then he took off on a TDY, military temporary duty or something. So I put it back together and got it running until the base police picked me up for riding it around without, 13 years old. So lots of years as a mechanic, lawnmowers, motorcycles, Volkswagens. So I found Copart. There are a couple other auction sites that do the same thing, but they get all these vehicles that are wrecked, and then they resell them and they pick up some money for that. So whether it's an insurance company might do it, or dealers do it to get a vehicle in trade they don't want, to take it to the auction and they get rid of it for them.
You do a dealer's license for that?
No, it did join their club. It was like one level up or something. It was $400, but it gave me $100,000 I could spend because they gave it some additional information, so I could bid up to 100,000 and up to 10 vehicles at a time. So I did. I have a company, Artisan SIP plan, so I just called my state office and said, can I add a DBA? They said, sure. So I became Artisan Auto, made some cards up whenever I bought parts. Oh, I'm a dealer, can you help me out with the price? Yep, sure. So I saved several hundred just by doing that link trick. So I learned this a long time ago. If you buy it right, you can always sell it right. So the trick is knowing exactly what you're getting. The problem is you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And I said that a lot during this process. So before you bid, you want to definitely make sure you know what's broken, or as much as you can. In these auction yards, of course, you can go look at them. Part of the problem is typically it's not till 2 or 3 days before the auction. The Tesla I bought was in Portland, so that was easy. The Ioniq that I built later was up in Seattle, a little harder, but I met my son there and we looked it all over and thought we knew what we were doing. We didn't. We'll get there. So I did a big spreadsheet to begin with. Most of these cars that I did, the Tesla and the Ioniq, I would say 3 to 4 hours to strip everything off that was broken or bent or needed to be replaced. So that's the easy part. And sitting down and making a spreadsheet and finding where to get all the parts. Tesla was easy. eBay was loaded with used parts because it'd been out for enough years and there was enough crashed. My theory is that people jump into the electric cars and don't realize how fast and how much torque they have. And so that's why there's so many of them get wrecked. But so it was easy to do that. On the Ioniq, a little tougher. It was a newer car, not so many wrecks. I had to buy a lot of it from the dealer, so it cost more. Something I hadn't figured on. And of course, you want to add some for cushion there. One of the things at the auctions that was amazing to me was how little damage it takes to a vehicle to total it. I saw a Rivian with a bent tailgate.
What?
That was it, totaled. Lots of Teslas, rear end, the hatch is bent, taillights are done, maybe a fender's totaled. They didn't even try to fix them. It's just amazing. So the deals are out there, but one of the things that you find is once it's branded, it's totaled, the warranty's gone. They don't care if it's a ding in the door, ding in the tailgate, one headlight out. If it's totaled, no warranty. So that can be a big hurdle for people to get over. But if you buy it right, if you don't have much money in it, maybe the warranty doesn't matter. So I covered there the parts and supplies a little bit. Something I learned was don't throw away any of the parts. So both of them, when I took them apart, I had a huge, one was in a garbage can, one was in a big cardboard box. These 70, 80, $100,000 cars are nothing but a pile of plastic held together with plastic buttons and 6mm bolts. I filled the garbage can completely with little pieces of plastic and clips and whatever. What I found was I'd get putting things back together, and I think I might have seen it. So you empty the trash can on the ground. Oh, there it is. And then you don't have to go find one on the interweb somewhere. SRS module, that's the safety restraint system, is a big issue with these vehicles. And most of them, it's a magic box that sits between the seats. Your seat belts, let's see, up front you have crash sensors. And when those crash sensors know that there's a crash, and it's just by getting it bumped, it sends a signal to this little box. And within 0.3 of a second, seat belts pull you back, the airbags blow. In the Tesla, the main fuse blows, so you can't have any more power to it. An amazing amount of engineering into these systems. But it's not something you can fix yourself. So what I recommend is first thing you do is get all that stuff, send it off to get it rebuilt, because it can take a week or two to get that stuff back. Because I'm going to drive this thing forever. I don't know, the hood still needs to be repainted. My wife drove it for a couple of weeks. And when are you going to fix that hood? I don't care. It works. It's not a big deal. I do a lot of painting with rattle can. So the first one was the Tesla Model Y with 81 kW battery, 3 seats, 20-inch wheels, self-driving, 6,000 miles on it. I got the bid for 21. To my shop was 24. Added another 8, so about 32 for total. The second was the 2023 Ioniq, dual motor, 8,000 miles. Got it for 13. With delivery to my shop, and it came to about 16. Parts and service added 15. But about the same, 31.5. Took 6 months. The biggest challenge was the CAN system, the computer network in the car. Because I replaced the radar unit in the front, the CAN system was looking for a serial number on that part. And even with a $700 tablet to get into each of the modules, I could not get deep enough into it to find where I could replace that serial number. And so every time it started up, the computer's looking for that part number, so it couldn't find it. So I had a communications error. And weeks and weeks, I finally found a guy in Beaverton that does this all the time. It still took him 4 hours to figure it out, but we got her done. Now it's charge and drive. That was Reboot Auto. The biggest thing on the Ioniq was I missed that the subframe was bent. We'll get to it at the end, some photos. But both of these cars, they tried to move a tree with it. And I missed, so a subframe is a high tensile steel H frame that bolts to the unibody. The suspension bolts to it, the motor bolts to it. And if you had a tranny, it would also bolt to it. So I got it all back together, tried to close the hood, and it was off a 1/2 inch. So I tried this and that, and I just, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Dug back down in, found out that the subframe was bent. Had to buy one, you can't straighten them, $1,000. So I had a friend come over and help me. I put a thing across to hold the motor up, dropped the H-frame out. Got it all back together and put it in there, and 2 of the bolts would line up, but not 4 of the bolts. So I talked to fortunately I had a frame shop 4 miles from my house. It's one of the best ones in the metro area. No problem, bring it over. So they put it on their rack and pushed and pulled and racked and got it all straightened out and bolted in there. So then when I got it all done, I did get it aligned, and they said, looks good, 1 degree off over here. So that frame shop knew what they were doing.
Where were you shopped?
It's right off I-5 between Vancouver and Ridgefield on the left. You can see it from the freeway. I could get you the name, Eric's frame shop. So, rebuilding a vehicle is more than just a mechanical project. I liken it to Frodo going after the golden ring or whatever he did. You know, it's a journey, and there's a lot of ogres out there. They're going to try to knock you off the path. But I like to learn. I'm a lifelong learner, so I enjoy a challenge. Both cars, there was a night that I couldn't quite get to sleep because I was sure I was going to have to just take it out on the side of the shop, start tearing parts off it and sell the parts and hope I could get most of my money back. Fortunately, we did. We pushed on. We got through the valley of the giants and made it to the other side. Was it worth it? Maybe. Would I do it again? Maybe. I would never do one that was hit in the front again. Back is the way to go. There's just too much electronic stuff in the front of these cars anymore. The parking sensors, the radar, if it has that, or LiDAR or whatever they have, it's just too much stuff. Unless it was a really light, just a bump cover is bound for something. But again, I enjoyed it, and I'll take questions. The Hyundai is sitting out in the parking lot if you want to take a look at it. Questions? I must have done a good job. Yeah. Okay.
So, I take it you wouldn't make a living at this if it took you 6 months to.
No, you would not. I do not see a viable path to fix and sell because the value of it, you just make up some numbers. Let's say it was 60,000 new. I'm in it for 30, but the value is at least 15, sometimes 20% reduced because it's a branded title and it has no warranty. Mm-hmm. So if you were going to do this, it'd be, my advice, it'd be your car, and I plan to drive it till the wheels fall off and then get some new wheels. Because that's the only way I can win.
That's why it's a branded title, because nobody wants to fix it.
Yep. But I picked up my Tacoma with a branded title for $14,000. It would have been 28. I put 140,000 miles on it, and it was working for a company, so they paid for the miles while I did that. I sold it 3 years later with that 140,000 miles on it for $14,000. But it was a Tacoma. Also.
Mm-hmm. You get a lot of squeaks and rattles after all this?
The interesting thing that the Ioniq, it squeaks. It feels like in the old days in the 50s, 60s and stuff, when we did cars, you had a squirt can of rubber lube, and it just feels like the rubber bushings are squeaking when I take off. And I'll fix it here one of these days. But other than that, again, both of them, they run straight down the road.
Good job. Yeah, that CAN bus stuff is so scary.
And it's so simple. It's only 2 wires.
I know. To try to do like it, you need a lot of experience. That's why I stay away from modern cars for conversions, because I don't want to do that.
Yep, I get it. Yes.
Have you been impacted by that lack of warranty if there have been recalls on either one of these cars?
The recalls are different than the warranty. They have to do the recalls. It's federally mandated. It doesn't matter whether it's branded or not. They have to fix it. So the Ioniq's been in twice for the from this 12-volt battery volt charge thing. But as part of my rebuild, I put a better battery in to start with. I've never had any issues, but I've taken it in both times for them to upgrade the software and check things out. You do a good job, quick, and they were actually pretty nice. I hate dealers, but they were nice. Maybe they're learning. The nice thing for me, I couldn't afford to fill my Tacoma gas tank every couple of weeks for $60 or $80. I can put 250 miles on either one of these for $7. And at this point, all we've done is charge and go. I guess we put some new tires on the Tesla, but so that part, it's working for me.
You think you'll go through tires quickly, or are you lead foot?
Not me. I'm way past those days. Yeah, I have it in eco mode and not in iDrive most of the time because it's just one motor on eco I get on the freeway and punch it on the on ramp, and I'm up to 70 and no heart. Just I don't know why I would need two motors in sport mode. Maybe as I get older, I'll get it.
Inspiring.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.